So you're thinking about moving to Gladstone, Missouri. Well, in this video, we are going to give you some pros and some cons to living in Gladstone, Missouri. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to tell you some of my favorite things, and Max is going to tell you one of his top favorite things about Gladstone, Missouri. So hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Kansas City and places like Gladstone, Missouri, then click subscribe, hit that little bell for notifications so you can be the first to know the current market here in the KC metro area. My name is Zach Morton. This here is Max Jones. The Mojo Real Estate team and us have been helping people buy and sell real estate in Kansas City for over 20 years, but you don't have to take our word for it. See what our clients have to say with over 600 5-star Google reviews from people just like you. So whether you're moving tomorrow or 4 or 5 months from now, just pick up the phone, you give us a call, shoot us a text, drop us an email, even schedule a Zoom call so we can discuss your goals and help you make a seamless transition into the KC metro market. So today we are talking about Gladstone, and we're going to start with, should we start with the pros?
Yep, I think let's always start with the good news, I'd say.
Let's start with some good news. What's your favorite pro?
I think that Gladstone, my favorite thing about it, well, not my favorite thing, but the first pro is it's centrally located, not only in the Northland, but really in the Kansas City metro area. And that's why we've chose it to put our office. Yeah. It's just a great spot with highway access, and I love how centrally located it is.
Yep, I have to agree. Our office is right there, close to 169 highway, which gets you access straight up north to 152 that'll then take you east or west, or straight down into the heart of downtown over the Broadway Bridge, which you can then fork off and go either direction down there depending on where you need to get in the city.
Yeah, since we service the whole Kansas City metro area, we are all over town, and being centrally located is really important. So, if you work in another side of town but want to live up north, Gladstone is a really good place to be.
Yeah. The
number two pro that I have on the list is affordability.
It is
$164,000 is the median price point for a single family home. And if you were to purchase it, and if you were to rent, the median is $970 a month. So really one of the most affordable places in the Kansas City metro.
Yeah. And what I kind of think, like it is an older city, it's been around for a while, is kind of think, there's a little bit of everything there, but I think like ranch homes, there's a lot of ranch homes. This was built in the era when the ranch homes were popular, and there's big lot sizes, and just a lot of that, a lot of brick homes, and area chock full of homes.
It is, yeah, that's actually one of the pros on our list is it has an abundance of single family homes. Not a ton of apartments or condos or that sort of thing. There are some, but it's primarily just rows and rows of single family homes on cul-de-sacs and mature trees. And so it's really a great affordable place to find a single family home in the Kansas City metro area, right in the heart of Gladstone.
Yeah, and one of the busiest, it's been a while, but North Oak runs right down the middle of it, or close to the middle of it, and it's kind of a business district, full of stoplights, businesses on each side of the road. But that was one of the busiest roads for business traffic in the Northland for a really long time, until a lot of these newer highways got put in, 20 years ago or whatever.
When we were growing up.
We used to cruise North Oak.
Yeah, that's right. That was the place to be.
Yeah, late at night, take a drive.
Yeah, and then turn around and drive back through it.
Yeah. One of those kind of places.
It is, yeah. It's kind of like Nolan Road, but for the Northland. It's just kind of the strip.
Yeah, so, what it was 20 years ago.
Right. Yeah. Now it's a little different. But still a good place to go find a restaurant or a store is right along North Oak.
Yeah. We'll still find all those like hot tub places. There'll be liquor stores. A lot of the little niche shops will be right off North Oak. I'm trying to think of anything else that's...
Yeah, if you want to grab lunch.
Craft shops, yeah.
When we're headed to lunch from our office, we cruise up North Oak and, find a Chinese place or Mexican restaurant. Or
personally, that's one of my, the lunch spots for like business lunches or whatever are just limitless up there. Not too far from Cerner. I guess Cerner just went to Oracle now, but there's a down in North Kansas City, not too far from that. So a lot of those people will filter up North Oak during the lunch hour too and hit those restaurants.
Yeah, which is kind of along the same topic of one of our fourth pros on our list is tons of access to grocery stores. So, all these single family homes need a place to buy their food and go shopping, and there's no lack of that. You've got Sam's Club and Hy-Vee and Price Chopper and Aldi. I mean, there's just tons of grocery stores in and around Gladstone. So, yep.
Is there any like Whole Foods or organic shops there?
No, there's I think for the Northland we don't have Whole Foods. We just have Sprouts. And there's one in Parkville and one.
But a lot of those
Liberty.
major grocery stores you just mentioned, they're going to have organic sections in them. I know Hy-Vee does and Price Chopper does. And
Yeah.
I'm sure Aldi's does too. I don't shop Aldi's a whole lot.
Yeah, I've heard rumblings that Whole Foods may open up a spot in north of the river in the Northland, but so far no. But there's no lack of grocery store access. You're no more than 3 or 4 minutes away from a grocery store when you're living in Gladstone. That pretty much does it. Well, there is one more thing on my list is earnings tax. If you're a subscriber to our videos, you more than likely have heard about the earning tax in Kansas City, Missouri, which is 1% of your gross income is taxed if you live or work in an address of Kansas City, Missouri. So one of the nice things about Gladstone, and another reason our office is there, is it is outside of that earnings tax area. So our office is in Gladstone. If you don't live in a Kansas City, Missouri area, then you can get away from paying that earnings tax.
Yeah, so we work in Gladstone.
Yep. We that's pretty much covers our pros, and now we have to go to the cons and talk about the bad news.
Uh-oh.
So what would you say is the first con to living in Gladstone?
I would say it's got that older feel. There's not a lot of new construction going there. A lot of the ground's already been developed and it's pretty full of houses. It's an older city, right? Smack in the, it's totally surrounded by Kansas City, so it's blocked in. It can't go any further. So there's just not a lot of new construction. You will see some infill stuff pop up every once in a while, and there probably is some undeveloped land, but just builders aren't really excited to go in there and just start a small little neighborhood in the middle of the old neighborhoods. We're not seeing a lot of that. I think that would be
not really growing a whole lot.
Yeah.
For me, the main thing is in Gladstone, there's really not a ton to do. I mean, there is the strip, North Oak, with some shops and some things, but as far as like nightlife or entertainment, probably not the best place. And that may be a good thing because where you're living, you don't want necessarily a ton of activity going on. It's kind of a delicate balance, but yeah, I mean, you don't have to go far. You're surrounded by things to do, but right in Gladstone.
In fact, just to put a pro spin on this, North Oak, which runs right up north and south through Gladstone, runs right down into North Kansas City. You can check out our vlog or other videos on that, and that's full of nightlife, and you're talking, 5-10 minutes of stop and go stoplights and you're there.
Yeah, you can cruise down into Northtown and there's nightlife galore down there. So that's maybe the best.
Keep the action down there where the action needs to be, and then have a nice quiet place to live.
Yeah, maybe we should move that to the pros.
Yeah.
The pros.
We'll let you guys decide.
Yeah. If you look up on niche.com where we get some of our statistics, they rate Gladstone as a C+ for crime, which that's not a glowing. If I got a C+ and brought that grade home to my parents, they weren't thrilled with that. So doesn't get the best rating for crime, but I wouldn't think of it as a high crime area.
Yeah, I don't. I always like to say, would I feel safe walking around there at night? And I do. I mean, Gladstone doesn't scare me at all. So pass the Zach walking around in the dark test.
Yeah, but you are wild.
For whatever that's worth.
Yeah,
I don't.
It must be relative to the other areas around it, like Liberty and Parkville, and
there are other areas really close by, newer areas that have better ratings. But I guess they find it from somewhere credible. I don't personally see it.
Yeah, maybe of all the places in the Northland, it is the least rated for crime.
Yeah.
But it's probably the oldest.
Yeah, oldest.
Area.
It's pretty dense with people, so
Yeah.
put a bunch of people in the same spot, they're bound to do crime.
Yeah, and along those lines, there's really not an abundant of all the single-family homes that are abundant. There's not a ton of them that are really on the higher end of price point.
Right.
So 500,000 and up, with the median being 164,000, there's not a lot of options for your 500K and up folks.
Yeah, a lot of those 40 and 50-year-old, ranch homes, and then some bungalows, and a lot of older, smaller homes. But
So if new construction's your thing, then you might not want to wind up in Gladstone. Maybe Parkville or Liberty is a better option for you in the Northland. In Gladstone, there are some parks. There's one that's actually very nostalgic to me, is Penguin Park. You can look it up. It has a giant penguin that has a slide inside of it. And, it's pretty cool, but I wouldn't say it's the nicest park in the world.
there's also a kangaroo there. They did redo it recently, in the last 5-10 years.
Yeah, it has been revitalized a little bit.
Because that penguin used to smell like pee. It was kind of isolated. And now it's a penguin with a slide coming out of it, so you can't pee inside of it. It doesn't smell so good.
Oh, Penguin Park. Man. Maybe that's why it's so nostalgic for me.
So, it brings back memories.
So this Penguin Park is pretty cool now that it's been upgraded. And there's also one park that's pretty cool. I mean, we're calling this a con because there's not a ton of parks and trails, but there is Happy Rock Park, which is a play on words for Gladstone. You have Gladstone and Happy Rock.
Yeah.
But it's a place that they have some ball fields and stuff. So I used to play on a men's softball league, and we would play at Happy Rock Park. And so there's a lot of extracurricular, type of activities.
I've been to a lot of little league games. My son was on a team, and we'd go had a couple tournaments there too. So he gets a lot of traffic.
So some access to parks, but relative to the surrounding areas, there's not the Northland is known for having awesome trails and for biking and running, and that are paved trails that are just through the woods and awesome. And there's not a lot of that going through Gladstone. So
and that's just probably because it's older, and they weren't doing that stuff back then, and now they've planned it out, and they're connecting neighborhoods and connecting different cities with these trails, and so it just wasn't important back then.
Yeah, city planning.
Everybody walked everywhere anyway, so they didn't. Let's say what it was another trail.
Yeah, they had sidewalks.
Yeah.
So and then we've already touched on this, but I wrote it down. It's an older neighborhood. So some put that in we hear a ton from buyers that are like, I don't want a cookie cutter subdivision house. I don't want a homes association. People telling me what to do. To me, they're talking about Gladstone, where it's older houses that have a charm. It has mature trees and bigger lots, and not a lot of subdivisions or planned.
Not a lot of HOAs telling you what to do and what color to paint your house and all that.
Right. So kind of more live and let live. We wrote it down as a con column, but a lot of these cons really have a flip side that can be viewed as pros by some. So that does it for our pros and cons.
All right. So now that you stuck around this long, we're going to tell you, Max and I, is each our favorite thing about Gladstone. You want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. My favorite thing about Gladstone is there's this downtown Gladstone area. I believe it might even be called Oakview, where that's its own little municipality within Gladstone. But they're revitalizing the downtown area right in there, and a lot of money and developments going in where they're the Gladstone Community Center, and there's a big park there where they have the Fall Festival. We love taking our kids to the Fall Festival in Gladstone. There's Summit Grill is down there, some new restaurants and shops and stuff. They're really revitalizing the downtown Gladstone area. And I just love that area. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I take clients to meet at Summit Grill, and they've got great food, and it's just a charming little spot right in the heart of Gladstone.
Yeah, it is. It's not like a real big area, but it's super walkable. There's a couple little restaurants around there. There's condos and apartments that just went in that are brand new, kind of state of the art, and they've just spent a lot of money. There's a ice skating rink. I think it's one of those new kind of plastic ice skating rinks that kind of you can skate on year round, but they've got that right in the middle. And then he mentioned the community center, which has a pool, which I think still has a high dive. It's so hard to find a high dive these days because kids keep jumping off and hurting themselves, and they keep yanking them out. But I think there's still one there.
There is.
Yeah.
It's only open during select times when they have a special lifeguard on staff.
Yeah, my son did a belly flop off of that when he was like 7. And
so you're the reason they closed it down.
Yeah, it could be. He's probably shut several pools down by now. But anyway, so yeah, just a great little family-oriented spot up there. And I guess my favorite thing is, touched on the schools a little bit, but they do have a great private school called Oak Hill Day School, and it's right there in that downtown area that we're talking about. And that's where we chose to send our kids when they were younger. It goes pre-K all the way up to, I don't know if it goes all the way through high school. It may, but definitely pre-K, and just have a lot of great memories, and still friends with the teachers, and still friends with a lot of the families that we developed during our kids' time at that school. And if you don't mind, I'll share one little quick story from that. It's kind of funny.
Please do.
This is the kind of atmosphere it is. The teachers know you so well that they send these fun stories home. So anyway, my son was in, I think, pre-K or kindergarten, and they're doing examples, sitting in a semicircle or a circle with the teacher, and they're like, hey, give me an example of something big and give me an example of something small. And my son pipes up, there's big boobs and there's small boobs. The teacher was gracious enough to tell me that story. And,
that's hilarious.
Saved it forever in his baby book. So
he was thinking about one thing.
I guess.
I think it's funny.
But yeah, great school, and that's probably my number one favorite thing about that, and just all the food.
Yeah,
I like to eat.
Yeah, that Oak Hill Day School is awesome. We would send our kids there during the summer. They had a great summer program. And you do really, it feels like family, you know, like the amount of trust you put into someone when you drop your kid off for a whole day is just, it's tremendous and kind of nerve-wracking. And I mean, I didn't feel dropping my kids off at Oak Hill Day School was just like a piece of cake.
Yep.
So yeah, that is really the schools in general in Gladstone. Oak Park High School is really nice. An older high school. It's been around quite a while, but really good sports, and so yeah, I'd say the schools all around.
You can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with schools in Gladstone.
Yeah. All right, well that does it for our pros and cons video.
Yeah.
You want to take us out of here?
Yeah, thanks for sticking around to the end, guys. We'd love to, this all comes down to your goals and what you want. We just try to make these videos to get a good idea of what Kansas City has to offer. But like I said, it's your goal, so we'd love to have that conversation with you. So just remember to feel free to leave a comment, and thanks for watching, guys.
All right, we'll see you next time.